I'm going to attempt to make a Marilyn Monroe dress. Marilyn Monroe dress part 2. So I'm just going to recap quickly where we left off last night. I made the pattern. So when I'm marking the patterns, I always note my waist and my hip. That's really important when dressmaking, because the original pattern, this measurement here, as you can see, their waist, I can zoom in, their waist and their hip is like here, will be too short for me. Realistically, I'm more down there. I make it to fit me. My waist to hip is 25. The original pattern ended here, and your girl's got a lot of booty, so I've extended the hips to make it fit me. Patterns are now cut now, so I'm about to start sewing. Also on my machine, to make my life a bit easier, I've with a ruler I've put in lines where the seam allowances are, so I know that that's 1 centimeter, that's 1.5, that's 2, and that's 2.5. So sample is made. This is it. I'm going to try it on and see how it looks and see what alterations need to be made, but it's very exciting. In fact, let me bring you to my mirror so we can see at the same time. You can see what I'm looking at the same time. Okay, so this is her so far. So if I'm looking in my mirror, I like it. It fits nice on my hips. I don't want it too tight because I'll be wearing a costume underneath. The back is a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do, I'm thinking, take it in a little bit more at the sides. Essentially, this is the lining that I'm working with, and I'm going to build the ruching detail on top of this. But so far, I am happy. You could do a bit more moulding here, but I think I'll leave that just because the dress is going to have all that ruching over it, which is just going to cover this anyway, so I'm not too bothered. Let's talk about the detail. Let's bring up the picture again so we can see where this swoosh goes from. So this morning I was doing a bit more research on it, and I found this is the original, but in the film it's blue because they coloured it. Yeah, my hips are here, just so we don't go lower than that, and my knees, just say roughly, here's my knees. When I measure my hips, it's the fullest part of my bum. So my bum comes out about here. Your hips are not here. I think that's where people go wrong when they are taking their measurements, because you put your hands here, you don't put your hands here, but your hips are actually the fullest part of your bum. That's where your hip measurement is. So that's my hips. So we've got our reference points. So I know that I kind of want it to start from like that kind of shape, but we'll put it on the mannequin so we can see the vibes. So this is what she's looking like so far. But yeah, the bodice is bugging me, so I think I'm going to make the bodice again. I don't really like it. I know it's going to have the ruching on it, but I just want to experiment with something else. Right, let's see how that looks. Ow, a pin stabbing me. Ow! Right, much better, yay. Okay, I prefer that. Yeah, much better. So yeah, man, loving that. I don't think there's much to take off on this, but like I said, I don't know what I'm wearing underneath, so I don't want to make it too tight, but I'm very happy. The next step would be to go to the fabric shop and decide what colour. Do I want it blue like the picture? Well, the picture is actually cream and purple, but blue, or do I want to go rogue and do another colour? Because I'm not sure blue is my colour. I've got more of like a warm complexion, So I don't know, I think like reds suit me a lot better than like blue. Do you know what I mean? Like this pops so much more against my skin tone than that. That's quite dull. So I don't know if I want to make it in blue. I also saw this dress that Beyonce was wearing. I'll insert it now. I love this mustardy yellow. I think it's stunning. And the beadwork, beautiful. So that's part 3. That's part 3. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed.